Welcome to this video. Before we carry on with our study, I would like to clarify a few things. So we're going to look at several viewer comments, and hopefully it'll make for a good video. Let's go to the viewer comments. Okay, the first one is Canaan or Japheth, the ancestor of the Germans. Let's try to understand why we're getting this question. If you think about the region that we're currently studying, but then look at the title of our videos, we see Canaanites, Hittites, Hittite Empire, Hittites, and this last video we were saying, could there be Hittites in Germany? So I think we can understand why we're getting the question. And I'd like to clarify, because we don't want to present something which is misleading. So let's speak about Japheth from Genesis 10. It's known as the Table of Nations. So the descendants of the three sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But can we look at them as nations, forming from these sons? And I'd like to speak about Gomer first. Now, I'm not going to share sources. I'm going to just say, what I've learned, how I see it, and then you can judge that with what you've learned. And I want to use a historical example to think about Gomer. And we've spoken about this before. We used this example. So it's known as the Central Powers or the Central Empires for World War I, 1914 to 1918. And we have the countries of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. And if we look at the map, we see the highlighted regions or countries or empires. So what I'm asking is, could this show the family of Gomer, this alliance? The reason why it could work, is it because it's predominantly within the family of Gomer? Because we learn about Gaul and Germania being connected with Gomer. But it's interesting that in the book of Genesis, we get the sons for Gomer and for Javan. Only these two sons. So that could be significant. And Togarmah, a son of Gomer, is connected with Turkic nations. So does that make sense that this alliance could, spread from Germania towards Turkey? And is it a family of Gomer? Is that showing the family of Gomer? So I wanted to share that with you, that we'd be thinking about Japheth first for Germany. Not thinking Canaan. We're thinking Japheth, we're thinking Gomer. And this is going to relate to the next comment as well, from Julia. Tubal founded Tafala in Spain. Let's look for Tafala. So it says it's in the community of Navarra. And Navarra is in northern Spain. So towards the border with France. So this connection that Julia is sharing with us for Tubal makes sense with what we were covering. Considering what the book of Jubilees was saying for Tubal, and then sources that we were reading, we were thinking for Tubal from northern Spain, also into northern Italy, and maybe further east as well. But we saw a researcher saying that the principal focus for Tubal was this region, so between northern Spain and Italy. And we also learned about this connection between Tubal and Meshech. That they could be an alliance and dwelling close to each other. So knowing where Tubal is also going to help with Meshech. And Madai, the son of Japheth, we learned from the book of Jubilees that Madai was supposed to inhabit this region, but didn't like the land by the sea, and went to dwell with the descendants of Shem. So that was interesting. Magog I'd like to leave for its own video because it might connect into what we're currently studying. So I'd like to leave Magog for its own video. So just quickly for Japheth, Tiras, the Book of Jubilees said that Tiras dwelt by four large islands approaching the territory of Ham. So we're thinking about these islands in the Mediterranean, and then Javan across the Mediterranean, being a maritime people. I think it says it here, a maritime peoples for the descendants of Javan. And then to the north of Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and then to the north, Gomer. Just so we can try clarify what we're saying, that we're not saying that Europe is going to be inhabited by the Canaanites in a large way. But why are we speaking so much about the Canaanites? So that's something interesting to think about. Okay, let's go to the next one. From Serkan. Am I the only one who sees in every corner Esau? Red for fire, red plus hairy equals sun, sun crossed by a Cassie Sailor prince in Scotland for fire god. This shows a sun cult domination, doesn't it? Let's look at the picture. So we have a sun cross, and this is going to be connected with fire worship. It tells us that, connected with fire worship, the fire god Baal, or Bel. But let's go to the Bible to see what it says about Esau. So Genesis 25. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So the Bible is telling us that Esau being called Edom, or red, is because he sold his birthright for red pottage. So it's not it's not a connection with fire for Esau. So I think we must think about that. We can't just because we see red, think fire for Esau, because it's not about fire, it was about the birthright being sold for pottage. So I don't think we mustn't bring Esau into this worship when it's when we're being told clearly that it's about Baal, the fire god Baal. And if we go to the next comment, it will relate to this. From Kyle. I had read of this, and the author speculated that the Gallo-British deity Belenus was of Phoenician origin, Baal. So we've seen these variations, Baal, Bel. Belenus is associated with the sun, healing and prophecy. So we see the sun worship. So if we go to the page on Belenus, so a Celtic deity, a Celtic god, a healing god. But notice that it connects it with Apollo. And Apollo is in the Greek pantheon. So we've seen this connection between the Celtic and the Greek. And if we go to the page on Apollo, we see Apollo worshipped by the Etruscans, the Hittites, the Egyptians, the Phoenician, the Celtic. So I think that shows what it's saying here, that the sun cult worship or the fire worship is dominant. It's spread throughout many regions of the world. And if we go up here, we'll learn about Apollo being connected with the sun. So sun worship, Sunday for Apollo. So Apollo's day is Sunday. So it's fire worship tied in with the sun. And the equivalence could be interesting to think about, because we see here, if we go down, the variations. So Bel, Beli, Bil, which we saw on this page. So the fire god Bil. But even notice it says maybe Belus. Just for people that maybe might be studying things, might know things, to think about the fact that Bel, the variation could be with P. So Apulu or Abulu or Bil, but then also worshipped in Egypt as Horus. So I think that's what we're going to be learning from this video. The viewers are saying it all seems to be connected. Let's go to the next one. I'm not going to read this one all out because it's quite long, but it's for how did Scotland get its name? And we're speaking about Scotland. And could it be from Queen Scota, a Scythian princess married to an Egyptian pharaoh? So very interesting because, we're thinking about this region and, does it tie back to Egypt? Does it go back to Egypt? So it's an interesting legend for a connection with Scotland and Egypt. I'm just not sure how to bring this into one of our videos because, what else are we going to be able to find other than, the account itself? But if we get a chance to speak about the Scythians, then maybe we can try, speak more about this. But the next part of the question or the comment was also interesting. Odin symbology with Celts is intermixed, and your videos have helped me understand that Greek, Roman, Odinism is all connected. So there's all these forms of worship being connected. Let's have a look at Odin. So Odin or Wodan. So it comes to us through this word Wednesday or Wodan's Day. And then in the French, it's Mercredi. So we can see Mercury. Now Mercury is a part of the Roman worship, the Roman pantheon. So that connects the Roman with the Norse. So it's not different. It's like we're seeing, it's all connected. Now, what about this fact that we have Wednesday being named after Wodan? So if I say, what did you do last Wednesday? I'm saying, what did you do last Wodan's Day? I don't think we have to get too carried away and be afraid of words. We're not worshipping Wodan, but I think we need to be aware that this pagan worship, this pagan culture hasn't gone away. It's still with us. And if we think about animation and movies with a Marvel, we can see that to try glorify the pagan religion, it's still with us, and to try expose the younger generation to it, to get them interested and to, so that they that they idolize these these heroes, these demigods. So I think it's good to be aware of it, so you can try steer and help your your children, those around you, but not to be afraid. Like, am I worshipping Wodan by saying Wednesday? I don't think we have to go that far, but to be aware of it. And I think that's why learning is important. Okay, let's go to, I think that's everything for that part. Okay, from Chris. There were giant skeletons found in Greece and surrounding islands, also at Sardinia. So this is very interesting. We're not going to be able to really go into this in this video, but interesting that the island of Sardinia is mentioned here, and that could be important for from our previous series, and then also maybe we might come into this speaking about Sardinia again in this series. We'll see how things go. But I wanted to share something with you that I thought was quite interesting, which is going to be connected with giants. So the page on the dolmen, so dolmens, so here we have a picture, so the megaliths. If we go down, it says, it remains unclear when, why, and by whom the earliest dolmens were made. And then notice the region where they're mostly found, Western Europe. So that could be important because that can connect with our study. Archaeologists still do not know who erected these dolmens, which makes it difficult to know why they did it. They are generally all regarded as tombs or burial chambers. despite the absence of clear evidence for this. So there's no clear evidence for the main reason they give for why these dolmens may have been built. But I just thought it was very interesting, this one potential meaning. It says here, the name was supposedly derived from a Breton language term meaning stone table, but doubt has been cast on this. Okay, so there is doubt, but could it mean stone table? Let's go back to the picture. So if we're now thinking stone table, who would need a table this big? So, I'm kind of saying it in a bit of a humorous way, but also, you could say it's quite serious as well, to get to the truth of these dolmens. What if it does mean stone table? So it could be like an example of where maybe we don't want to see, what it's saying, what it's telling us. So let me know what you think about this. What do you see? And could it be a stone table? Okay, let's go to, I think if I can say dash. I was having the same thoughts this morning. The narrative of ancient history appears more and more like a tightly controlled script, with information cherry-picked, if not fabricated. So I thought this was a very good comment, and it actually made me change my title. So I changed the title when I read that, and I'd like to finish with this quote from Napoleon. History is a set of lies agreed upon. And Napoleon was a emperor of France, a famous general. History is a set of lies agreed upon. So sad if there's truth to that, and I'm going to give you my take on this, but let me know what you think. What I want to say is, who is Napoleon speaking of? Because to agree is to be complicit, but it also means that you're consciously thinking about it and making a decision. And if you think about most of us going to school, we believe what our teachers were teaching us. So if we are deceived and we do believe lies, it's because we've been misled. It wasn't because we were agreeing on lies. We weren't aware. So most of the world, in ignorance, it's not the same as actually agreeing upon a set of lies. So who is Napoleon speaking about? Who is complicit with agreeing on this set of lies for our history? But I think it's important for our channel, we're not being defeatist. We asking questions, we're challenging where it seems right, and we don't just have to agree or go along. We can be thankful that we not we don't want to remain ignorant. We want to try learn, and I think that's very encouraging with the channel, getting these questions and all these comments from the viewers. So yeah, thank you for these comments. Lots of other good comments that could have also come into the video. Yeah, very encouraging, and yeah, thank you for supporting the channel and for liking the videos. I think that's going to be it for this video. We'll try now get back to the study to speak about the Trojans. We said the next video was going to be on the Trojans. Just thought it was important to clarify what we're saying so that we don't mislead. We are saying, that Europe's predominantly going to be inhabited by the descendants of Japheth, but then why are we speaking so much about the Hittites and the Canaanites and the Trojans? So that's going to be very interesting to see if we can make sense of that. Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in another one.